Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be doing a review on this. This is my go-to camera. It's a Nikon D500. We'll talk about some of the specs even, and just a little bit about what I've found with the camera, what I like about it, possibly who's it for and who it's not for. But anyway, some specs. So, megapixel 20.9, so good starting point. Nice, you know what I mean, it does the job at that. I would have liked it around 30 megapixels, maybe even more than that if possible, but that's what they made. I mean, it's a 3-year-old camera now. Shutter speeds, you can go from 30 seconds, operate in bulb and do it as long as you want, all the way up to 1/8,000th of a second. You can have 10 frames a second, a full manual, which is enough, and you can take 200 in optimal light. You can take 200 shots together, and when I mean 200, I mean 200. I'm just going to do this 2 seconds. So 200 shots when it's on the right mode. Just shows you, doesn't it? Wasn't 200, but depending on the right light and the fact that you've got a memory card that will do the 200 right speeds. I've got a pretty high memory card in here at the moment. I'll just have a look, see what it is. It's 150 megabytes a second, so it should cope with it. I mean, I've never had to do 200 frames, but that's what it'll shoot up to, optimal circumstances, 200 frames, and then you hit the buffer. Card slots, it has 2 on the side there, just there. You have a QXD card, of which I don't use because they're too bloody expensive, and I'm not a pro, so I can't afford them. And you know, SD. What else to say about it? ISO 100 up to 51,200. So ISO range is pretty decent. Through this, I'm going to be putting some photos on, so you can have a look at some of the stuff I've done with this camera and this lens and the other lens that I use mainly, which is a Sigma 150 to 600 contemporary lens. Now you'll find the reviews for this lens and the Sigma in the description below, so have a look at them and you'll see what they're capable of. Both cracking lenses. And put with this, even better I think. This came as a kit lens with it, and now I said this in the review on this lens, when this came as a kit and then I used this lens, and I was thinking, why have they labelled it as a kit lens? To buy this so-called kit lens is £900. If you go on Nikon UK, which I've been on today, you can get the body for 16 or 1700. Like just under £1,800 just for the body, and then with this takes it up to about 2.7. Still, I mean, I paid 2.8 for mine when I first got them brand new. Now that's 2 years ago, so they haven't come down in price a lot at all. Like I say, 20.9 megapixels, 20 frames a second. 10 frames a second. But a really good camera. Weight wise, let's have a look. Yes, I've got this all wrote down because I will not remember it all. Simple as that. Weight wise, now this is without the lenses, but on the reviews I have give you the weight of the lenses. But weight, it's 160 grams or £1 14 ounces, or nearly £2. So it's hefty for a body, but it's not that big. Now I loved it when I first grabbed this because it fits my hands perfectly, and I've got pretty big hands, pretty big bloke as you can tell, but it fits my hands lovely. You know what I mean? The base of the camera's just snug, just nice there. With the grip, I think the grip itself would be too big for me. But when I use the D500 or when I used the 3200, I had to have a grip on because I had nowhere for my little finger. My little finger was just always just waving around all by itself. So I love this grip. It comes with a tilt screen at the back, as you can see. It tilts out quite far. You can get it. Why you'd want it up there, I don't know. But when you're shooting high, it'll come all the way down to there, so you can shoot high. So when you can shoot high and look underneath it and that. The only thing I don't like about the screen is it doesn't fold out that way and then spin like it does on the 5300, which I really miss. I'd love it to have been able to do that, because that'd be just ideal if it just came out and spun. But I suppose with these buttons down the side here, if you can see that, with them buttons down there, they'll probably get in the way, redesigned I suppose. It's down in Nikon for you. But I would have put that 5300, I would have put that on this. So you have your normal modes, as in manual, aperture priority, shutter priority and program. White balance is all on the top, your quality is all on the top, what mode you're in is at the top. You know what I mean, everything else is there. White balance, ISO, record, on off. You've got a wheel at the front. Your wheel at your front basically does your f-stop, the wheel at the back does your shutter speed, and then your ISO, like I say, you can either have it on auto, which mine's set to 1600 like I said, or you can fiddle around with it yourself, it's up to you. But who's this camera for? Personally, I don't think it's for someone who's just getting into photography. I think it's more for someone who wants something a little bit more than what they have, and I don't mean that as in they want to get out of auto more. And yes, I know you can get out of auto in any camera because they all have the manual and all that lot. The D5300 has it, everything else. But to take a step from the 53, now even I found this, and I've been taking photos for a long time, but when I first came to this I struggled because I didn't have that comfort zone to go back to the sport mode if I was shooting something fast or doing a landscape. And then maybe that's just because I was a bit maybe naive, thinking, I'm a fantastic photographer, give me that camera, I can take a photo of anything. Possibly. But now when I got this and I start playing with it, it's a case of I haven't looked back since. And don't get me wrong, I'm no pro photographer. I'll hold my hands up straight away, I'm no pro. I do it because I like to do it. This camera helps me do what I want to do. Is it better than the 5300? It costs more. Would I recommend buying this over the 5300? Well, that depends on what you want to do. If you're coming into photography and you want something that you can point and shoot and you know you're going to get a photo, 5300. Or the 5000 range. I think it's up to the 5600 at the moment. That's what I'd say go for. But if you've someone who's had that type of camera, like the beginner DSLR, and you want to take a step forward or a step up, then the 500 would quite possibly do exactly what you wanted it to do. Like I say, I've done portraits with it, I've done landscape, I've done night stuff with it, I've done motor shows, well not motor shows, but I've done motor events. I've done sports with it, I've done low light stuff with it, you know what I mean. The things I really like about this camera, one, high shutter speed, high shutter rate, so 10 frames a second is fantastic. Things I don't like about it, I think it has a lot of noise after 1600. Hence why I have it set to about 1600. I know I can put something in that I've taken at 1600 ISO and put it into Lightroom or any other editing software, and get a decent photo out of it. Alright, I might not be able to crop it as much as I want to, because in some circumstances you have to crop. I don't care what anyone says. It's like hitting auto in Lightroom. It's just something you do. It makes your life easier. And if someone tells me that they're not doing that, or someone says to me that I don't do that, good for them. Good for them. I'm glad for them. Anyway, stop bitching and talk about the camera. Okay. Would I say it was good to start a business with? Yes, I would. Put it with some nice glass, which I think this is nice glass. Or even if you put one of the Sigma art lenses on it, which I know a lot of people have, and some of the results you're getting on them are stunning, especially for portrait photography. The 105 Sigma, which I don't have, which I thought about, is meant to be fantastic for portraits. Some of the other art lenses, I think they're 24-70, if I remember rightly. I'm sure someone will put something in the comment to correct me on that, but that's another brilliant lens. So there you are, guys. Like I say, I'll put a link down below to some photos if you want to go and have a view of them. A bit of pixel peeping, that's up to you. If you'd like to like, share and subscribe, that would be excellent as well. Help me out. And if you want to know anything else that I've missed out, and I've probably missed out a load of shit, just message us below, drop us a link. So there you go, guys. D500 Nikon, bit of a review for you, latest.